Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. We just got back from our vacation a couple of days ago and we had the weekend to just kind of settle back into normal. So I thought I would bring you guys a garden tour for this week. And it's the middle of my work day and I was just running outside to water my log bed. So I thought, okay, cool, I'll bring you guys along and show you how terrible this bed looks. So if you recall, I planted the mums and stuff in the log bed maybe, I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks ago. So they're new plants. They need babying for a bit when they first go in. Well, they didn't get it because it got no water while we were gone. I expected it to rain because fall in Arkansas, it rains every 2 or 3 days. It did not. It did not rain the whole time we were gone. Can you believe that? When my husband told me that, like the last day of our trip, I was like, oh my God, my plants. So anyways, we had some losses. This one looks the worst. Look how terrible they look. This soil is also really bad. I need to make a mental note. I thought about this when I was over here yesterday, and then I just forgot to make an actual note in my calendar. But I need to get some new soil for this. Even if I'm not planting in here, well, I guess if I'm not planting anything live until next spring, I can add the soil in the spring. Because usually I put some like fake ornamental things in here, like after our first frost. But you guys, we've got like a month and a half, 2 months until our first frost. So I'd like those mums to come back. And anyway, this area over here also got zero water while we were gone. We've got sweet potato vine growing up on the porch. I've got to clean that off. And then just, you know, some spent, sad looking things. We've still got weeds in there. When I clean this up, I'm just going to remove that part. I'm going to leave the rest of the ornamental vine. I will take out the sunflowers and I will leave the elephant ears and stuff until frost. Cannas and elephant ears can stay and then they'll die back. You may notice our pool is green and it is low. We quit using it about 3 weeks ago because it was getting cold. We had actual fall weather. Look at these 2 cute cats. They're so adorable. Oh my goodness. Anyway, we had actual fall weather. So we were done with it. We packed up. The only thing that we've got left on the deck there is the furniture. We put away all of the floaties and all that stuff, ready for that season to be over. And then the level just slowly started decreasing right before our trip. And so my husband thinks there's actually a leak in the side somewhere. So for now, we're leaving it just to see. I'm going to try and give you guys an update on like everything right now because that would be super. So front flower bed over here, you guys, have still done nothing with it. It needs weeding. It needs mulch. It needs a lot. This has been a rough year for the roses. Look how you can like see through that bush. And then there's the other rose. You can barely even see it. It's terrible. This bed here, I've had a lot of trouble with my dog. You guys might have seen that last video where I came through and I pulled out a lot of stuff, gave it a nice little makeover. It finally looks decent. But I did have my dog, Maple, came and pulled up 3 of the mums. So we're missing that one and that one. They're just missing. And then I came through yesterday randomly and added mulch to this whole bed, so it looks a lot better. I also moved some decor over, got my little fall gnome, and moved our kids' handprint thing, and some lights. So things are struggling. This is the Pop-Tart hydrangea that has struggled from fungal issues. So you can see I trimmed it way back and I sprayed it with fungal stuff. It's looking a lot better. I'm going to have to keep spraying it. This fountain grass I cut back before I planted it and it's not doing much of anything. It may just not get enough sun there. That's the second time I've actually tried to grow fountain grass there. Oh, how cute is he? Anyways, these are transplants right here. These were in our log bed for spring and they they had some transplant shock, but they bounced back pretty well, and the Colorado blue spruce is just doing fantastic. Everything else over here looks good. Yeah, I don't expect a lot of these perennials to like do fantastic things until next spring. I also want to mention too, speaking of Colorado blue spruce, oh how my heart loves thee, that while we were on our vacation and we were in Idaho, Colorado, Wyoming, oh my goodness, parts of the world that I'd never seen, and none of it my husband had ever seen. He'd never been to Colorado, but the Colorado blue spruce obviously makes me think of Colorado. Just the lovely evergreens of western Colorado. Well, we didn't go through that part of Colorado at all, so my husband didn't get to see that. However, I was surprised that a lot of Wyoming around the Teton National Park is a ton of evergreens. And different than western Colorado, but beautiful nonetheless. And it got me and my husband really thinking about how much we love those types of trees. Pines, spruce, like they're just so amazing. And here in Northeast Arkansas, we are surrounded by oak trees. We have beautiful, huge, hundreds years old oak trees around our property that we love and absolutely adore. However, they lose their leaves in the wintertime. And so they're all bare and brown, and we're surrounded by brownness. All of our grass looks like this in the wintertime. See how brown this already is? It's not normal this time of year. We typically, like I said, we have cooler temps and we get regular rain, and we're not getting that regular rain. So our grass is dead. My husband has mowed this once since we returned home, but you can just see that it is like light brown everywhere. It's ridiculous and sad looking. I hate when the grass gets brown. And no, we don't water our lawn because typically we don't have to. Typically it'll go through a brown phase for a couple weeks in the summer when we have like some drought weather. But then like spring, most of summer, and all of fall, it stays green until frost. This is just kind of an abnormal variance, I guess. But anyways, seeing the trees and everything that we saw while we were out there got us both thinking how we really want to surround our house in evergreens. And so I just immediately started picturing like filling in, see where this flower bed ends here? Kind of filling in this area coming towards the house and in front of the gas tank, and creating like a wall of evergreens right there to basically go from the house over to the log bed and just create like a shield from the road. And also just these beautiful trees for us to see out this side of our house all the time. And we've wanted to add some to the back of in front of our woods, because again, everything in our woods is a lot of oaks. They all drop their leaves. There's no evergreens in there. So in the winter, when those die out, everything is naked and they look like sticks, and we can see through the woods to our neighbor's house on the hill, and we just don't like that. So we've been talking about putting some tall, skinny evergreen shrubs in the back of our house over there to create an actual green wall that's year-round. And we've just not done that yet. But ever since this trip, you guys, I'm super duper focused on spruces, pine, anything that's not going to get like super humongous, maybe max, 20 feet tall. And then also some dwarf varieties, and just create a hedge going that way, kind of like making a hug around the house. And then also would like to do it over here as well. But I just don't know where we would do it on this side, because we like that when you stand in the yard here, you see our carport and you can see out to our big expansive side yard. And this is the in-ground garden, which looks very different right now, and I'll take you over there in a minute. But we like being able to see that all the way over there. But that area is also like full sun. We've added a willow tree, and what's that one that's my husband's favorite? A cypress tree, and those are back. There's the willow tree, and the cypress tree is just on the other side of that. There's not much going on out there. I would love to eventually like encase that whole side yard, front, side, and back, in evergreens. We just love evergreens. So anyways, somehow over time we're going to incorporate that into our yard. We want our yard to feel much more like an evergreen space because it can get to be like visually depressing with just how brown everything is here in the winter. And that's the only thing we can do about it, is plant evergreens. That's why a lot of my perennials in this front bed here are evergreens, is for that reason. Okay, so let's take a quick look at the kitchen garden. I got some of it in the sun right now. This big wild tree that we let live, it does drop its leaves, so it will also be a lot of sticks sticking up in the wintertime. And it's already started dropping them, and you can see some of them are yellow. Oh, speaking of yellow, another tree that we fell in love with when we were out there in that part of the country are the ash trees and the aspens. Oh my gosh, they're so beautiful. White bark, fiery yellow and orange leaves are so beautiful. I've not researched yet to see if they'll survive here in zone 7, but anyways, I would love some of those too. I did, while we were there, make a note in my Google Calendar of the trees I need to research and I want to add, including shrubs. So that'll be amazing. A lot of stuff here really pairs back in the winter time. I've tried to add evergreens, you guys. It's a long, gradual process because it's expensive when you have none. So like if you look at this area of our house, this is leading up to our front porch. This is a, what is that called? It's 2 words. Crepe myrtle. This is a crepe myrtle, and it is cut back to about 4 feet from the ground, which is usually just trunk, every year. And so that will be gone. This is a rose, it'll die back. This is Mexican petunias, they'll die back. This like evergreen right here, we just added a couple years ago. Someone actually gave me that, and we've been shocked that it has survived. We absolutely adore it. On the other side of the crepe myrtle is another rose and a hosta, and a perennial hibiscus. It also gets cut back to the ground. So there's like nothing up here that's evergreen, which is why we ended up adding that Colorado blue spruce over there. And so we just need to get some more evergreens in here. These hollies do stay green unless we get a deep frost, which we did last year. So last year these did die back and then flush back in the spring, late spring, but they don't do that every year. Okay, so like I said, I did not set up the sprinkler this time when we went out of town, strictly because I thought, okay, it's fall, it's going to rain every couple days, everything will be fine. And I was really pressed for time, but ironically, it did not rain. And I kid you not, every time I've set up my tripod sprinkler in here when we go on vacation, it rains while we're gone. So we come back and everything is fine, but also like kind of overly wet. So this time we came home and everything was dry. We watered it immediately the next day, waited a day, we watered yesterday. Look at everything is still wilting. Another factor in all of this is that the few weeks previous to our trip, we had fall temps. So the highs were like 75, 72, 78. It was gorgeous. We had our windows open for weeks. And then the week we were gone and this week, we're back up to the high 80s, 91, 92 for, 5 or 6 more days. I'm hoping this is a heat wave because after this, next week, they're calling for fall temps again. But it's been warmer than it was. And so things have struggled. They got no water and they got 90 degrees for 5 days while we were gone. And so most everything lived except for the mums over there in the log bed, but everything is struggle bus. Everything. Also, this soil I have in these 4 raised beds is so depleted. It needs to be replenished. I'm undecided if I will do fall crops in these beds or not, just because at some point before freezing, I need to add the next layer of blocks and paint them and add soil. And at what point in there would I do a fall crop? So not sure on that. Also, cute cat. Also, what was I going to say? I really want to make this garden space be less of a summer garden next year, and I want it to be a perennial kitchen garden for me. As in, I want onions and garlic in these 4 beds, somewhere in this garden. I also want leeks. I want numerous different things like that that are grown to eat fresh. And so I'm going to have to I'm gonna have to play with what I want to put in these 4 things, these 4 beds. Maybe do less peppers here next year. These peppers are fine. They're still growing. I don't know how much more they will ripen up because they are struggling a bit. I did harvest some just yesterday, so we got some to put that I diced up and put in the freezer. I put some of my fall stuff in here, just kind of around for fun, spreading the love around. These on the ground means my dog was out here messing with them this morning. I don't recall if we had moved all of these vines in the last video or not, but we did pull out the cucumbers. Let's see what else. That rose I put over there, my sick rose, completely died back. A lot of stuff over here is struggling. That's my lavender. It's doing okay. The sugar snap peas I planted in here died. I don't think they ever got enough sunlight. We come over here, and this perennial hibiscus is doing fine. This basil is dropping leaves. It was just very sad and dry while we were gone. The little dwarf sunflowers did their thing, and now they've died back. The Kajari melon here, you can see there's one on the ground. Here's another one. Oh my goodness, my dog. Yeah, that's already got gnats in it, and it wasn't even turned. I bet you either my dog knocked that off and it cracked, or it cracked from me watering so heavily recently. But she has been known to eat them. This one fell off while we were gone. She was at the border, but when we brought her home that next day, I hadn't picked that up yet, and she started attacking it. We've got this baby one here, and we've got one normal size right there, just waiting to see what's going to happen. You can see there's lots of dead dry leaves, and so I don't know if it's going to do much more. And I may just, I don't know, save seed from these. I'm not sure. We haven't tried them yet, but we'll see. Other than some dry leaves you see right here, these tomatoes are thriving. Look at this. Look at how beautiful. Oh my gosh, big. These are brandywines, and they are just happy. Happy, happy. Our blackberries here struggled due to lack of water because they're in containers. Need to water them again. So this tomato here is a brandywine. You can see it's got its 3 big ones there, and I don't know if it has any more. This is a different variety. They're smaller tomatoes. So it is loaded up with green ones. Here's got some orange ones. I picked 6 off of this yesterday. There's some more green ones. And then we've got some baby ones here. We've got some more here starting to turn. We've got some more green ones there. We've got at least 20. There's some babies, if you can see them up there. Let's come around. There's some more right here. And then I did have my Chinese noodle bean that grew from right here. And you can see down there where it's all brown, it started dying back. So what I did when we got home was I came through and I pulled them. And I think I have a picture of me and Hadley doing that. We just saved seed from them. So we ended up with maybe about 60 or 70 seeds. So we'll grow that again next year and see what happens. Because that was really just for fun. And I'll give them actually their own dedicated space next year rather than just throwing them in somewhere randomly. Over here, wanted to show you that the skirt's hanging out on that just fine. No issues with that DIY project. This willow here that I did the berm around, it's doing fine. It's green leaves that we left have done fine. And these up here, I'm going to wait until next year to decide if I want to cut them back or not, because I'm just not sure yet. These plants did okay. This one is some sort of perennial flower. I cut it way back, and it has also some like fungal damage. So I sprayed it just a day or 2 ago. Let's see. What else? This is another perennial hibiscus. It's doing okay. This is a hosta dying back. We had a perennial flower there that died back already. I have not seen my hummingbird since I got home. Makes me sad. We've been home 3 days now. where are they, but they did empty the feeder on the front porch, so I'm guessing they're hanging out more on the front porch. And the bird baths over here were empty, completely empty, because again, 5 days with no rain. So I think they just relocated to where they could be closer to water temporarily. I hope they come back. But anyways, you can see you've got some yellowing on this hibiscus. These plants are okay. Oh, these are actually just totally fine. This container had a petunia in it, as well as this, whatever this guy is. I don't know. Love that combination though. The petunia died back, and this is fine. I'm just going to keep leaving it here on the table as long as this guy stays alive. I'm not going to try to plant these plants I have here on each side, because I'm just not going to worry about it. They wouldn't have long enough to live, so whatever. They're just whatever. And then these in here, this container was 2 different flowers, and it looks like they finally died. This green part here is part of the watermelon. Oh, look, there's a little watermelon on it. Anyways, so come over here, and it looks like this guy is trying to die back, but that vinca is coming back because it had died. This is where this is potatoes going gangbusters. This is the strawberry watermelon. It had one on the vine and it just died. I'm assuming there's not enough calcium in that bed and they're just not getting enough sunlight. Potatoes going crazy. Cannas succumbing to fungal or something. I don't know. They started yellowing right before our vacation. I don't think it's water related. I think it's sickness, because this happens to my cannas every year. And then here are these other volunteer potatoes thriving. There's some carrots in that one too. You can see I've got some fungal damage on this rose as well. I did spray it when we got back. And then these are I don't know what that guy in the middle is, but I've got 2 hostas there, a third hosta there, another hosta there. These I transplanted from the front yard and cut way back. I don't really care about what they look like right now because they were sickly when I transplanted them. So we'll wait and reserve judgment next spring. Still loving this little arrangement here. And these plants were extra dry and sad and thirsty when we got home. So I think that's everything over here. So then what we did yesterday, there's a lot of different cleanup things that I want to do. Things I need to, like fall chores I need to get started on. Things I want to pull out. Things I want to trim back. And I'm hoping to do like a full makeover on that front bed in our front yard soon. Because I want to come through and pull the weeds before frost and deep mulch everything and finally get up a border. But I don't know if that's going to happen yet. I don't know when that's going to happen. Side note, my husband saw that yesterday morning when he came out to feed the cats, there was a new stray orange cat out here that was skinny. And he said he thinks it's been eating some of our food. And when he came out here, it ran under our building. So we hope it stays. We love cats. We hope the other our two cats aren't mean to it and it feels comfortable to stay. Because we sure don't mind to feed it. But anyways, I've not gotten to see it and it's obviously scared of people. So anyways, just hope our boys don't be bullies to it. Anyways, love my freaking truck, you guys. We rented a large sedan for our trip. And when we got there, they did not have what we had reserved and paid for. So they offered us a free upgrade to a luxury SUV. So we got like a small Mercedes 300 something. Okay, so supposed to be like top of the line and really nice. I mean, it's Mercedes, but we did not like that vehicle. It has a lot of the similar features as my vehicle. It has driving modes. It had all these different things, but they also had a lot of the features like navigation and stuff turned off because it's a rental car, which makes no sense to me. Everybody who rents a car doesn't know where they're going, so they need navigation. But whatever. So, whoa, oh my god, the leaf flew right at me. I didn't know what was flying at me. Anyways, it was so small. It was like being in a car, not an SUV. It felt 100% like being in a car. Great gas mileage, which was great, but really made me miss my car. Me and my husband both, when we got back to the Memphis airport and made the 1.5 mile walk to the long-term parking and got my car, we both were like, oh my God, thank you, thank you, thank you. Like, missed my truck. For it to be as small as it is so roomy inside. Love it. Anyway, so what I was saying is yesterday during our chill Sunday, we came out to the in-ground garden. I told my husband I knew I wanted to hand water the zinnias because since it had been probably 2 weeks since it had rained, that'd be the last time they had water. We have only hand watered the zinnias maybe 3 times all summer long. They are drought tolerant. They are gangster. They will like thrive in heat, crappy soil, neglect, whatever. They just do fantastic. But so since I knew it had been 2 weeks, I wanted to hand water them. So when I came out, I wanted to check on everything else. We only had 1 trellis up with gourds still on it and all of our sunflowers. And my husband had saved those because he knew that Hadley and I wanted to pick some of the sunflower heads to save seeds. So what I did was I came out, Cat just sneezed. I came out and I picked all the gourds, dried or not. My husband tore out the vine and put up the trellis. I harvested the sunflower heads that I wanted, which are those ones that were like a burgundy and a cream color. They were very beautiful bicolor sunflowers, multi-branching. So I harvested those. I deadheaded the zinnias. We hand watered the zinnias. And then I picked a bouquet of flowers. So we're going to leave the zinnias. They will stay until frost. So that is all that's left in our in-ground garden. So I thought I would show you because that's a big difference. Here is what we're left with. So on the left was our vine patch. On the right was tomatoes, squash, zucchini, gourds, and I think maybe that's it. And most of that stuff did not thrive over here. Tomatoes hated this side of the garden. So next year we'll do corn and sunflowers or something, and we'll put tomatoes more in the middle where we normally do them because they normally thrive. But so we just pulled all this up and my husband just mowed it down. And you can see all the flower heads on the ground. The zinnias are looking so much better today. Right now it is literally about noontime. So the sun is high in the sky. Everything is really bright. So they don't look as beautiful right now as they would in the morning or the evening. But they do look a ton better. And they're getting like really tall. Some of them, like this one. It is so bright. Can't even see myself. Okay. See how tall they are? So there's another one down here. I've not saved seed from any of these yet. I just keep deadheading them. I have tons of zinnia seeds. I really don't have to. Here is mahogany hibiscus. Love this. This is an annual. I would love to grow this in landscape next year. I keep forgetting to start them from seed and grow them for landscape. But how gorgeous would this be next to the Colorado blue spruce? Oh my God. Remember that. You guys remind me. So here is our tallest zinnia right here. Almost to the end. This guy, this orange guy. Look at that. Just a couple inches shorter than me. So anyways, they've done great. This is the side of the yard I'm talking about that doesn't have any evergreens either. All these things will lose their leaves. They will be invisible or just, you know, limbs in the air. These gorgeous oak trees surrounding our house and those in front of our house, you guys, these will all be completely bare. Completely bare. We definitely want to add some evergreens. So anyways, this video is getting to be pretty long, but I think in the future, up until garden season is over, I'll try to do a once a week garden tour and just kind of show you everything we still have going on. Because I know those zinnias out there, they'll last until frost. And I'm just kind of undetermined on what I'm going to do in the kitchen garden. I would like to start to transition it to a perennial kitchen garden. But we'll just see. We will see. Definitely want to add evergreens just everywhere. And that's one of the funnest parts about travel is seeing natural landscapes as well as like the city urban planned landscaping in Wyoming. So beautiful. Here is what's left of what we harvested the other day. My husband cut this hole in this one so I can paint it later. The girls both painted a birdhouse gourd yesterday while they were with us. And these are those smaller tomatoes left in the kitchen garden. We got some jalapenos and some sweet peppers and all these adorable gourds from what we took out. And that's it. So anyways, I'm filming this today on like October 2nd, and you'll see this pretty soon. So this is what everything looks like the 1st of October here in Northeast Arkansas. Excited to be back from vacation. We had an amazing trip. If you've not ever gotten to go see the Grand Tetons or Yellowstone, you must go. You must go. If you love nature, it is so fabulous. So fabulous. We saw elk like having a quarrel, and anyways, it was just amazing. It was all amazing. Only animal we didn't get to see while there were moose and bear. But I told my husband that just reaffirms that 1, we need to come back to Yellowstone and see the other half, and 2, we need to go to Alaska, because I know for a fact you can see bear and moose all over in Alaska. So definitely hope to do the Alaska trip next year. We've been like wanting to and planning to do that for like a long time, but it is really expensive. So anyways, that's where everything in our life is right now in early October. And gonna be working on some projects in the garden next week as I have time, and some little things I've wanted to get done through summer but weren't as important, so they're just kind of at the bottom of the list. But now our countdown is like until frost. What do we need to get done before frost? And that includes any outdoor painting and stuff like that. So that's what I'm going to be working on. Thanks for being here today. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. I love you.